See, I'm getting too old to be the chairman of this thing.
And we should be live.
Live. Okay. The meeting of the Kailua Village Design Commission will come to order. Time is 1:09 p.m. Welcome, everyone. My name is Sean Roth. I'm the chairperson of the Kailua Village Design Commission. And I think we have on today Commissioners Elena Kilkuski, Rebecca Lucia Bronston, Glenn Casal, Coleman Kailua, Palani Greenwell, and did I miss anyone? Oh, Sing Young is at also on. I think that's everyone. And so since we're on this Zoom meeting format, if anyone has someone in their space that they need to acknowledge, I have Kari Kimura is in the room next door here. Anyone else have someone in their area?
Yeah, my drafter is here, Winter Anderson.
Okay, thank you. And just a reminder,
Listening
commissioners, we need to
intently.
keep our video on throughout the meeting. The commissioner's role is to provide an architectural and design review of proposed projects, including landscaping and signage within the Kailua Village Special District. Commission is an advisory body. For sign permits, the commission's recommendations are forwarded to the Public Works Director for action. For architectural design review, the commission's recommendations are forwarded to the Planning Director for action. The procedures for this meeting, the Roberts Rules of Order will be used to conduct the meeting. Each commissioner wishing to speak should be recognized by the chairperson before speaking. Applicants and members of the public should be recognized by the chairperson when testifying or asking questions. Each application will be heard in the order listed on the agenda, and staff will introduce each project. Applicants will be asked to make a presentation or statement, which will be followed by questions from the commissioners. Public testimony will be taken, and commission, after discussion, will vote to make a recommendation for approval, denial, or deferral. The first item on our agenda is the minutes from the February 6th meeting.
Chair Roth,
Go ahead.
one thing, if I could just introduce our new corporation counsel, Jean Campbell.
Okay.
She's joining us and she is replacing Anne.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I don't plan to sit through all of your meetings every single time, but I figured for my first one, I would for sure be here. And if I'm not sitting in with you, I am available through the staff by phone or by email or by text. What I'm going to do is I will check in with them prior to each meeting. And if it sounds like there's something that you're likely to want me for in the meeting, I'll be here. Otherwise, I'll be available through the staff for any of your meetings. So you may or may not see me at each meeting, but certainly if there's anything hairy going on, you can always request that the staff have me sit in. And nice to meet everybody, sort of by Zoom informally, and look forward to working with you.
Great. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So the minutes from the February 6th meeting were distributed. Are there any corrections to those minutes? Okay, no one unmuted. So hearing no corrections, the minutes are approved. First, are there any statements from the public on the agenda items?
No, Chair, we didn't have any statements for any of the agenda items. Thank you.
Okay, so for the record, no, there are no statements from the public. Okay, the first item of new business, but it's sort of old business, is application PL KVD 2023-000049. The applicant, Reed Yamaguchi of Informed Design, is requesting a new design review of a new restaurant and drive-through and new wall signs at the Nimalo Marketplace located at TMK 75004007 to reconsider the revised design to address concerns expressed by the commission at the February 6, 2024 meeting regarding compliance with the existing facility design and the existing master sign plan. The proposed restaurant would be located off the internal drive aisle on the west side of Nimalo Marketplace and is proposed as a Wendy's restaurant and drive-through. The building materials consist of a standing seam metal roof, metal siding with wood design, a main accent tower, and lava rock veneer. The exterior colors are a mix of granite gray, natural linen tan, extruded aluminum knotwood, Cavilla veneer, bright red, stormy gray with clear and dark bronze, anodized aluminum windows and fascia. The new wall signs would be illuminated, A with white letters and B with red letters. Maximum height of 39 inches with Wendy's logo, the height of 38 and 5/8 inches. The Nimalo Marketplace was built in 2020 and was previously reviewed by KVDC. The applicant is Reed Yamaguchi of Informed Design, landowner WPC Nimalo LLC, TMK 75004007, located at 75-971 Henry Street in Kailua, Kona. Will staff please give us an introduction to this application?
Thank you, Chair. It's Ross Newland. I have a PowerPoint share on the screen. Do you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So this is an aerial, and the blue-green square is the corner of the internal driveway where the Wendy's would be. The large white building pointing here there's a Safeway. If I can get this going here. This is a Safeway over here. My pointer's not very big, but here's the Safeway. And then there's Henry Street going up. So there'd be access coming off of Henry Street in the lower driveway right here, internal driveway. And then come up through here to the main parking area. And then it would loop around the building. There's a tax map showing the parcel off of Henry Street and off of Queen Kailua Highway. There's their title page. Showing the same on the upper right corner, the same square selected where the Wendy's would be. This is a diagram showing the loop of the drive-through coming off the internal driveway and going to the north of it and then looping around to the south and out. There's a landscape plan. This is the new elevation. I provided in the slide next, the old elevation or prior elevation. So they provided a letter explaining the changes, and they have provided a double pitch roof on most of the building to reflect buildings within and around the Neo Mall Center. And they're referencing similar to the Jack in the Box. And they did change their signage area with the Wendy's with a lava rock veneer wall. This is the prior submittal with Wendy's with a flat roof and a different Wendy's signage area. So if you want to see those two again. That's the previous submittal showing the flat roof and some sloped roof on the middle of kind of towards the 2/3 up on the building. This is their letter. They talked about the outdoor lanai request from the commission. And they said due to safety, employee safety and the public safety concerns, they opted out of providing an outdoor lanai. They said there's a growing population of homeless population on the property, which is becoming a growing concern. And they chose not to provide an outdoor lanai. These are the materials on the for the property. And there's the Wendy's sign. And then this is a comment from the building division, Chris Domino. He reviewed the master plan and it says that all signs shall comply with chapter 3 sign sections 358A, 5B, and 359A4. And he said per the planning department master sign plan for Neomalo Center, on page 19, there's a comment that on 3/15/2019, the KBDC or the Kailua Design Commission recommended the approval of custom tenant fonts, logos, and colors with the standard sign background be allowed up to 18 inches. All other sign regulations shall be per chapter 3 sign code. So from this, I'm taking that the maximum letter height and logo height would be 18 inches. So that master sign plan, as I recall, is actually a sign variance for the facility because it's allowing higher, larger letters and logos than the sign code. So I'm taking from this, they would need to revise their sign to comply with the master sign plan and sign variance. So it's at 39, 39 inches almost for both the logo and the letter height for Wendy's. So those are the PowerPoint slides. Is there any question?
Okay, Commissioners, does anyone have any questions for Roz?
So Roz, you're saying the sign that they're requesting now, the letter height's 39 inches?
Yes, the maximum letter height of 39 inches with the Windows logo height at 38 5/8 inches. So the Wendy's with the pigtails is 38 5/8, and the letters, the maximum height is 39 inches.
And they haven't applied for their own sign variance, have they?
No.
Okay.
So there's a, let me look at this, yeah, this actually shows, this is their older submittal that shows 42 inches. Oh, that's the area around Wendy's, and then 30. Looks like it says 3711 or 3611 for the logo, so I'm not sure. I got that from their submittal. Not sure. Maybe the applicant can confirm.
Yeah, I believe it's 36 in diameter.
Oh. Okay.
And for the record, that was Reed Yamauchi.
Yes, so I'm sorry.
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions for Roz? And Roz, maybe you can leave this with one of those pages that have the new application, the new one up. Like, yeah, that's probably a good one to be looking at. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, does the applicant have anything that they would like to present?
I think Rosalind did a pretty good job on our
Yeah, Reed, if you just
our
introduce yourself
redesign and
again. Yeah.
and the things we had to consider. We did do some variations on the lanai, but I think in the end, when we had discussed with the owner of the shopping center about the issues they've been having with the homeless, there was concerns of, trying to, if it's public or even the employees trying to ask them to leave, just not putting the employees or public in harm's way. That's why we just chose. Yeah, I mean, as much as I think the outdoor lanai would look great, provide some nice spaces, but I think it'll be more of an kind of a nuisance, and not nuisance, but something that'll public safety and employees. It's just the welfare was of top priority.
Okay. Is that?
I can kind of add to that a little bit. I'm Christopher Wadley, the VP with Cotty Foods. We have been having, and not just Hawaii, California, Midwest, you name it. We are really steering away from any kind of outdoor seating because it has become very problematic. We have a store in Glendora California, that literally the police have to come clear out our patio almost daily. Same with one of our Santa Monica stores. So it's really a very high concern for the operations team. I didn't know what the situation was in Kona, so we set up a call with the owners of the center and asked them, is there an issue or have you had issues with it in the center? And they indicated that they have, and that they've had to have security. I guess they have on-site security has to go like sweep the property on the regular. So when that was brought to the attention of the owner of our company and the head of our operations team for Hawaii, they both basically rejected the outdoor seating because of safety concerns. And we have had issues where employees have gotten caught up in weird situations with homeless people. So it's a high level of concern for safety. Wasn't anything we were necessarily against other than that one issue.
Commissioners, any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you, Christopher and Reed. So we'll move on to discussion of the project as it's been represented. I'll lead off and first say, I appreciate that the applicant listened to some of the things that we'd said last time, and we have like the rock face on the wall, not so much of the red. The roofs trying to be in keeping with the rest of the development. I think that's all good moves in the right direction. Unfortunately, it still looks like Wendy's design is driving things a little more than would be nice, but it looks like this is probably a pretty good compromise on that. As far as the outdoor seating thing, that's not a requirement, right? But I think that the excuse of it's going to be trouble because of homeless is not a very strong argument, really, because there's restaurants and other things all over Kona with outdoor seating. It's a common thing, right? And so if Namalo Place feels like they need to make their outdoor spaces inhospitable, then that's not really Kona. It's unfortunate. So as far as the revised design goes, the only thing that I sort of have issue with is the size of the signs. That, like as Roz mentioned, that the things that were previously approved for Nimala Marketplace was the text size, the 18 inches for the tenant spaces. There were some exceptional signs that were, where the KVDC, recommended approval of some variances. And I believe that the largest signs that were approved for Safeway on their tower and all that was 3'6". And that's sort of like the largest, the anchor tenant for the whole space was 3'6". And so I don't think it's reasonable for, one of the subtenants to have a sign that's that big. And granted, this is, it is sort of internal to the development. However, the street that runs through, that the passage through from the intersection over to Lani Hao, it may be on private property, but it acts as a public street. And this building is up there so that these become like billboards. So I think, the reduction in the red color and the other things seem really good, but I think we just got to get the size under control. Commissioners, does anyone else have some discussion they'd like to add? Commissioner Lucia?
Yeah,
Unmuting?
I'm sorry.
Were you unmuting? Were you going to say something?
Oh, no, am I muted?
You were unmuting. So I thought you were going to say.
Oh, no, I didn't touch anything unless my kitten did that. My cat might have touched something.
Okay.
Well, I agree. We don't want billboards. If there are rules in place for the area that, whether any of us like it or not, I guess they're in place for a reason, and, everyone needs to follow them unless they get the variance approved.
Would it be possible to note as a condition of approval that we will follow the guidelines of the center? And then we will seek a variance separately, and if we get it, great. If not, then we'll still be approved so we can move into building permit under the sign guidelines, and we'll provide revised elevations.
So, because we could, so commissioners, we could possibly, basically recommend approval of the building design. And then recommend that for the signs, that any design, the design needs to comply with, the existing variances for Nimala Marketplace.
Sure, Roth, it's Ross Nolan. I'm rereading this building division comment letter, and it seems that it's only the background of the sign that can be allowed up to 18 inches. It's not, it says, per the plan, I'm sorry to reread this again, but it's kind of confusing to me. Per the planning department master plan for Niamalo, on page 19, there was a comment that on 3/15/2019, the KBDC recommended approval of custom tenant fonts, logos, and colors with the standard sign background be allowed up to 18 inches. All other sign regulations shall be per chapter 3 sign code. Well, if that's what he's saying, if that's what Mr. Domino is saying, then on the previous paragraph, it says all signs shall comply with chapter 3 sign code sections 358(5)B and 359A4. Well, I believe that's where the letter height maximum is 9 inches. Same with logo height. So he needs to discuss this with the building division.
Yeah.
And see
Or
what-
just review the master plan,
exactly.
master sign
Yeah,
plan that was approved of by the county council
right.
and be compliant with that.
Right, correct.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
could say for KVDC, we can say that we're basically by saying that the signs are okay as long as they comply with with the previous Nimalo Place variances, then it's like we're not changing our position on that.
Yeah, or we could say also that either they comply with the master sign plan from Niumalu or their own separate variance if they want to
Or
deviate
they have
from
to
that.
ask for their own variance. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but as far as KVDC goes, like what I was saying at the beginning is I would from a KVDC point of view, I would not want to see anything that's larger than what was previously approved for Nimala Marketplace.
I see.
Just, I mean, personally, that's how I feel. And commissioners, I don't know if anyone else feels that way or not, but I think we should be consistent about, what was previously approved for this. I think KVDC actually stretched things pretty far for this development and gave them a lot of extra sign height and size. And so I don't see a need to go beyond that. Yeah.
Yes.
Any discussion? Or Elena, you just sounds like you want to make it sounds like you're ready
A motion?
to
No,
make a
no,
motion.
I don't know yet. Just one other thought. I mean, it's hard to make calls like this because when you look at the presentation, the elevations, proportionally, the size of the signage doesn't seem like it could probably be a little bit smaller, maybe 75% of what it is or something. But it's always hard because I try to imagine like what would an 18-inch, logo look like? What would 18-inch lettering look like? And when thought of in terms of the proportion of the rest of the building and the context that the sign is in, like it could also look really odd. It could stand out even more if it looks too small or something, So I always get a bit confused in situations like this because I see what you're saying, Sean, where, if Safeway was the anchor tenant and the limits have been stretched to 18 inches already, you know, maybe we don't want to exceed that for Wendy's, but at the same time, if, you know, if they want to get a variance for something larger, that could be, you know, its own separate process that gets reviewed and approved or denied, you know, so I don't really know what kind of motion to make.
So for me on these signs too, the fact that they're lit, you know, they're backlit, that's another reason why I don't want to see the size getting so big, because you know, this is up on the, you know, it's a raised area on the thing, and some of these signs are going to be looking out towards the Mackay side, and you're going to see it from Henry Street. And, you know, and I said the term billboard, right? And we don't have billboards in Kona. And I don't think we want billboards in Kona. And so, and I think we need to let the, you know, the design team and the applicant work out the proportions of this. You know, if they want to show us something again, that's fine. But you know, without seeing it, it's hard to say, right? What we can say today, though, is, you know, meet what was previously approved.
Yeah, because I think the intent is to hopefully try and get, for them, is to try and get approval from us so they don't have to come back unless they, you know, go the separate variance route.
Yeah. And of course,
So-
their sign permit and their building permit will be separate. But, oh, go ahead, Dan.
Just to clarify, they will need to do a plan approval first before the building permit. So they have not come in for a plan approval yet for the Wendy's. So the plan approval will cover or will review the application for the building design for compliance to the zoning code, as well as keep in mind of the recommendations that you folks make as to whether or not we approve or ask them for revisions for that.
Yeah. And so if they're unsure about the signs, then they could go in for their plan approval and do signs without signs and do it separately. We've seen other projects that have come through without signs and then followed it up at a later time.
So back to a motion, Sean, you were saying it's possible for us to approve the building design. And then they would need to come back once they amend the signage to meet the master plan, or we could.
Or we could say, oh, we also approve of the signage, provided it's reduced in size to meet the master plan. And then they'd have an option to not come back.
Yeah.
Just to, this is Reed with Informed Design. Just to, I know Alanya was asking about the proportion of the sign, and I think the sign is like 36 inches in diameter. So to get it down to 18, it's like half the size, right?
Yeah.
So it'll look pretty tiny. It'll look small. Yeah.
Well, and it may have to be where instead of the logo above the Wendy's, maybe it's next to the Wendy's, right?
Right. Right.
And that could look just fine. You know, having a band with the logo and then the Wendy's next to it, right? It'll be, you know, not as big, but maybe, you know, that's really maybe more appropriate for Kona.
The other thing, guys,
Sure.
is, you know, one thing you might consider is that the sign that faces Mackay could be made quite small, you know, to that 18-inch height. But we're mostly concerned with that one, I think, not so much the one from the parking lot side. And at least in my mind, you know,
I'm a little concerned about the parking lot one too, because, you know, from the highway up there, you look across and, you know, I don't know exactly where the cutoff is here, but if this sign is sticking way up and it's lit, you know, I don't want that to be too big as you're driving by on the highway.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but maybe, yeah. But anyway, I guess, yeah, like my point is you could, apply for a variance maybe for the parking lot one and reduce the size of the Mackay facing one. Because that's your main one, right? Like people are already in the parking lot needing to find it. They're probably not gonna be looking around for it while they're driving on that through road or out on the ocean somewhere. So, but anyway, yeah, just my thoughts.
Is there any other discussion? No? Elena, I think you had that motion pretty well in mind now.
Yeah, okay, let me do a draft real quick. So we make a motion to approve as proposed under condition that the size of the signage complies with the Niumalu master sign plan, I think is what it was called in the letter, right?
Awesome. I like that motion. Anyone second?
Second,
Second by Commissioner Young.
yes.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay. No discussion. Shall we vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, Chair, it's Ross Nolan. We'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Greenwald,
I
Commissioner Kailua,
Aye.
Commissioner Kilkuski, maker of the motion,
Aye.
Commissioner Costello,
Aye.
Commissioner Lucia,
Aye.
Commissioner Young, second on the motion. Okay,
Aye.
okay, so that's unanimous, that is approved as proposed with a condition that the sign complies with the master sign plan for the new model center.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good to have that done. Okay.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is announcements. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for April 19th. Are there any other announcements?
Nope.
No.
And technically there's no meeting for April 9th because no applications have come in. So the next tentative meeting is on April 23.
Okay, so April 23 is the next possible meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Great. So if there's no further business, any further business? No?
I do have a question. I remember
Go ahead.
Meeting-
Lucia.
meetings ago, we had discussed or looking into changing that that law or whatever with the size to go more with the proportions of the building. Whatever happened to that?
So that's something we need to have on the agenda at some point in order to have discussion about the sign code, right?
Yeah.
And
But remember, the recommendation was to speak with the deputy managing director. He was kind of leading the push for any revision to the sign code. So I have not heard of any new movement on that, but any action on revising the sign code is in his hands right now. So he's working with building, Department of Public Works on any kind of revisions to the sign code, especially for the Kailua Village Design District.
So we just
Sorry.
wait until that happens, or
If you want, you can submit comments to the deputy to urge him along and to identify any critical areas that you feel should be modified.
or you could request a personal meeting with him.
yeah, I think it makes more sense. I mean, obviously no billboards, but it makes more sense to have it, proportionate and looking, it just that Planet Fitness, little 9 inches is ridiculous. And I know other buildings are trying and 9 inches just doesn't fit and doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. you know, I think as long as it's approved and proportionate and so, yeah.
But we would need to have it on the agenda if we want to have any further discussion about that.
So would we want to discuss amongst ourselves and then set up a meeting or just include them in a
So I think
meeting?
if there is enough of us, you know, if there's, you know, commissioners here who would like to have that as an agenda item, you know, let Deanne or myself know, and then we can look at putting that on the agenda for an upcoming meeting.
Do we need to let you know in writing or can we just take a vote right now? Or we just email you?
No votes right now. This is not an agenda item.
Not an
So
agenda item.
please
Okay.
email in to myself and I will work with Sean on seeing if there is enough commissioners to get this on the agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Deanne, do you know if they have a draft written up already for a proposed?
I do not know if they have a draft. I did contact the deputy and he knows that you all are interested and want to be kept involved and up to date on any actions. But I have not heard anything from him as to what is happening.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay,
thanks.
so yeah, we should leave that for now. Okay. Okay, thank you all for being here. It's so nice to have, you know, the full attendance so that we can conduct the business and get things through here. So again, thank you for being here, and I apologize for being late. I really did think it was 2 o'clock. And look here, it's only so no further business, and so the meeting is adjourned at 1:46, 15 minutes before it was supposed to start. Pretty good, huh? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.